Hello and welcome to another episode of my Facts and Glitches series, where I showcase some more of what I've learned about GTA 5 in my over 12,000 hours of playing the game and from my awesome viewers. At the end of the Big Score Subtle Approach, after a successful heist, you meet up with Lester at Michael's house for the final cutscene.
Lester's meeting us at my place.
This cutscene, however, cannot play if you have a wanted level. Lester will still walk out of Michael's house, but will now stand there awkwardly as the cutscene cannot play. You can even bully Lester, and if you push him away from the mission endpoint, you can continue to do so even after losing the cops.
Please fuck off! Quit it! Ow! Fuck off! Bully!
Of course, if you return to the mission endpoint, the cutscene will still play as normal.
Woohoo! Gentlemen!
Lester.
Using the cinematic camera while moving the roof of a convertible sometimes will give you a special camera angle that follows this transformation. The back windows of Franklin's first safe house show everything in a strangely low quality. This is best shown with a Rockstar editor, where you cause a ruckus out the back and then record it through the windows. In GTA 5, the train never stops, but for some reason in GTA Online, the train stops at specifically one location near the power station. Even stranger, specifically while it is stationary, you can warp yourself into any of the freight, although you will be stuck there if it starts to move. You can also warp into the cabin, but you must intercept the train earlier, use fire to get the driver to jump out, and then use a tall vehicle to get sufficient height to enter. If you stand and point your gun at the roundabout at the Lake Vinewood Estates, the vehicles get spooked but cannot figure out how to escape. This results in a growing horde of cars caught in the trap. A good way to see some acrobatics from Trevor is to throw grenades at him at the end of the mission The Wrap Up.
What the fuck?
For some reason, Rockstar was very adamant that Trevor not be able to leave the area, which funnily enough results in his inability to complete his dives away from grenades. A funny glitch happens in GTA Online if you get tased while walking off the front of a train. There's an easy solution for Lester, sometimes being unable to remove your wanted level in missions.
Not now, sorry, but no, I'm afraid not.
You just need to make sure to call and request the job from someone before going into the mission.
What can I help you with? No problem.
You can later join the lobby of the request the job during a police chase, which actually removes your wanted level. You can then back out of your lobby and complete the original mission. Jumping is typically a poor way to get up steep inclines, because eventually you stumble and fall back down. This is especially so considering that aiming down the sight makes you far more likely to get up any steep incline. Surprisingly though, your stability while jumping gets a huge boost when you spam jump after pressing to put away your weapon. You can see here that Franklin still has the weapon in his hand, yet it doesn't show the ammo counter in the top corner. As far as the game is concerned, he has put away the weapon, but the animation was interrupted. And when you stop jumping, the animation completes. This strange state of both having a weapon and not makes it so that as long as you keep spamming, you will never ragdoll as you go up a hill, so you can potentially even get up inclines that aiming down the sight cannot overcome. Vehicles do have a working fuel gauge, despite that fuel is not important in the game. This fuel gauge will stay at full regardless of how much you drive, unless your car receives damage enough to leak fuel, then the gauge will slowly drop to empty, at which point the car will become non-functional.
Start, you piece of shit!
On the mission Derailed, Michael and Trevor flee with the loot from the train, with Michael driving the boat and Trevor firing at the pursuers. Few people know that you can create a funny little glitch with this scene. If you switch to Michael and stop the boat, then throw a grenade at Trevor, switch to him and then put his power on to survive the grenade, you can then switch back to Michael while Trevor is swimming, and Trevor will warp back into the boat, but once you switch to him, he will maintain his swimming animation.
Can we just enjoy the scenery a minute? The ground forces are on us! I forgot to say, nice outfit! And by nice, I mean lame!
Hey, T! Check the coast!
He will maintain this stance even when you're controlling Michael. In GTA Online outside of your nightclub, some people are so captivated by their phones that they will ignore even the possibility of death. I suspect that most people don't notice that the Sheriff Cruiser has two different types of siren lights. This is probably also true of the dev who accidentally merged the two lights in the Pluto Score Bank cutscene. It's honestly something so small that you won't normally notice, but watch as one of the lights disappears when the cutscene transitions to gameplay. Taking too many photos in the casino causes you to get kicked out.
Is it nice out? I've been in here forever.
Our characters in GTA Online bring out Trevor's phone when we do the take selfie action rather than our normal phone. Honestly, I've seen enough of these random instances of Trevor's phone being used that I assume it's just the default phone given when nothing specific is selected by the devs. Normally when you're picking out clothing in a store, if a person uses a bike and sneaks in, they won't be able to shoot you unless they kill the clerk. This isn't the case in specifically the Binco clothing store though. When you use the dressing room, surprisingly you are made immortal, allowing you to pick out some clothes in peace. This strange feature actually makes this a good place to level your weapon stat, assuming you have someone who's willing to stand around for you. You can glitch yourself into a trailer with the help of a friend in GTA Online. One person with a bulldozer needs to lift and drop the trailer slowly, while the other person spams jump in the middle of the trailer. Obviously there's not much to do with this glitch. Although you can experience all the fun of being trapped in a box underwater. There is a special hallway near Franklin's house and Grove Street that NPCs simply cannot enter.
Fall back! Anyone got eyes on him? Drop in! Nowhere to run!
On rare occasions, some will notice you inside and shoot at you, but they still can't enter after you.
There he is!
This can only happen if you're within line of sight of the door. If you move slightly further up, this can no longer happen.
Well, that's that then.
The Sentinel has arguably been mislabeled as a two-seater vehicle, as the car clearly has 4 seats, and we can even see these back seats being used by Jimmy on the mission Father-Son. Despite this, other characters will refuse to acknowledge these other seats.
This whip ain't big enough. We need a bigger ride.
Oh, this ain't gonna cut it, fool. No, we ain't fitting in that thing.
With very precise timing at the end of the mission long stretch, you can get both Lamar and Stretch to get into the vehicle, but the game will claim that you're driving a vehicle with insufficient seats all the way up until they both get in. It is of course also possible to use mods to tell NPCs to get into the vehicle, and they just warp in as well. I assume it was just too difficult to have NPCs navigate themselves in and out of this car when it only had 2 doors. On the mission Eye in the Sky, after you steal the Z-Type and get a call from Molly, Trevor yaps non-stop for the rest of the mission.
Hey, I'm delivering the ride to Los Santos International.
Hey, is the lady gonna be there?
At least this is what is meant to happen, but for some reason this only happens if you hang up on Molly's phone call. If you listen to the entire thing and do not hang up, Trevor will not speak.
I got that car for y'all.
The Z-Type? Mr. Weston will be glad you caught us. He wanted to see it before we took off. We're on the way to his personal hangar at Los Santos International. I'll tell them to expect you at the gate.
All right.
This also happens if you pull up and put down your phone very fast after getting into the Z-Type for the first time.
Suspect down! Fine work, ground unit.
Clearly there is something wrong with the trigger for Trevor's dialogue here. One of Trevor's side missions involved asking him to acquire various memorabilia from famous people around Los Santos.
Just a few Vinewood souvenirs. Americans are the most wonderful people in the world, aren't they?
The best!
One such item is a golf club, which you obtain in the normal way that Trevor does things. For some strange reason though, if you don't take the golf club from the back of the golf cart, you are given the unfortunate effect of literally never being able to lose the police. They will be permanently on you until you steal the golf club, at which point they will let you go. I suppose there is no practical benefit to this, but it is odd that the ability to lose the police is tied to picking up a golf club.
Word up! I said it, Mrs. Thornhill.
I persuaded Mark Fostenberg to donate one of his golf clubs to your Museum of Dysfunction.
Oh, bravo!
On the big score obvious approach, after drilling into the Union Depository, you are instructed to use C4 to get inside the cages to steal the gold.
Cops ain't gonna be long. Let's blow these cages while we can.
However, it turns out the game is fairly picky about how you get inside. You can blow off every wall of the cage, but the game will still not progress if the doors remain standing, as it considers them to be impassable even if you can literally just knock them over with your body. The game will progress when you knock them down, but if before doing so you move your ally into the cages, he will for some reason just die in the next scene. Although sometimes even stranger things happen. GTA 5 is programmed to make any fire on your vehicle last longer if a fire truck has been deployed to the location, just so it can have time to give the illusion of being useful. This is most easily shown by timing a fire in a place that fire trucks can deploy and comparing it to another place where they can't deploy because it is so remote. Comparing the city to the hills, for example, the fire in the city will last longer every single time. And so that ends the episode. Thank you for watching. If you think you know of anything that would be of interest to this series, feel free to add it to my Discord. I hope you're all doing well.